begin the service with the ringing of the kanshō, and then please follow along with the chanting of Juseige. You can follow along on the screen or the purple service book in front of you, page 93.
調整願非死無浄土志願不満足世苦上昇学他を無量故不意大世衆不最小便世苦上昇学他史上分道妙所長実法空境未消も世苦上昇学利欲人少年上映修凡行死愚無浄土昇天にし人力現代公不生無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避知恵言滅死根門閉塞小悪道通達伝修門高僧上満足老実法日月修十期天候音符下一種解放道公正功徳法上大集中説法四式供養一切部無 則習徳法元年出場魔得意三害用無下知通達未不詳感覚へり投資最小尊志願や国家大戦王冠の空所天に東鎮妙見ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがにしくどくよどせいさいどうほんも大心おうじょうあんらこナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツナマンダツ。
Now we will have the reading of three treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
I invite you to put your hands together as we recite together the three treasures. Hard is it to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpa. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Sankyemon. Ninjin ukegatashi imasure ni uku. Buppo kikigatashi imasure ni kiku. Konomi konjo ni mukatte dosezunba, sarani izure no shou ni mukatte ka konomi o dosen. Daishu moro tomo ni shishin ni sanbo ni kieshi tate matsuru beshi. Mizu kara butsu ni kieshi tate matsuru. Masa ni nega waku wa shujou to tomo ni daido o taige shite mujou yo okosan. Mizu kara hou ni kieshi tate matsuru. Masa ni nega waku wa shujou to tomo ni fukaku kyouzo ni irite chie umi no gotoku naran. Mizu kara sou ni kieshi tate matsuru. まさに願わくは衆生と共に大衆を通りして一切無限ならん。無常人人未明の法は百千万語にもあようことかたし、我今検問し従事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナモ阿弥陀仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ、ナマンダ、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ、ナマンダ仏。
Talk.
Once again, I'd like to invite you to please put your hands together as I read a passage written by Venerable Shinran. Shakyamuni and Amida are our parents, full of love and compassion for us. Guiding us through various skillful means, they bring us to awaken the supreme heart of entrusting. Shakyamuni is likened to our father, Amida to our mother. Namandats, namandap, namandats, namandats. Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It's a hot day today, huh? It's hotter than 70 degrees. Thank you to all of you who are joining us for the first time. And for all those that have continued to join us, thank you very much for continuing to listen to Nembutsu today. And I would like to wish all of the mothers and mother figures who are joining us today a very happy Mother's Day. The passage that I have just read comes from Venerable Shinran's Odes on the Great Pure Land Masters. In this poem, he is paraphrasing the great teacher Shandao of China in praising the compassionate qualities of the two Buddhas, Shakyamuni and Amida. He likens Shakyamuni to our father, and Amida is compared to our mother. The reason they are like our parents is that they guide and nurture us in life. One of the ways that they guide us and nurture us is through great compassion, so that we can know that we can entrust in the Buddha Dharma no matter what is happening in our lives. Although Venerable Shinran is comparing Amida to our mother, I don't think that this is because he thinks that Amida created us or is like Mother Earth or Mother Nature in a physical sense. I think Amida is being said to be like our mother for the special compassion that Amida embodies and is always extending to all beings. When we speak of Amida's compassion, it is not referring to a general kindness that we might show someone, like, oh, we have to show them compassion, let's be nice. It's not like that, nor is it a kind of divine forgiveness or mercy that we have to ask for or pray for. In Buddhism, compassion has a very specific meaning. It is a desire to save all beings from suffering. And this aspiration has no level of self-centeredness whatsoever. In other words, Buddha is not saying, I'm going to save everybody and I need credit for it. And Buddha is also not getting angry at anyone if and when they are not listening to the Dharma. But Buddha has an unending patience for all beings. Furthermore, Buddha's compassion has an aspect of pity and empathy. Buddha is completely understanding always of how difficult life can be and wants us to know that we are not alone in any of our hardships. This is not a top-down pity and empathy, but more like that of a very good friend next to us. Buddha is at our level with us, being happy with us, and being sad with us. And with this pity and empathy comes the Buddha's desire to benefit all beings through alleviating all of us of our suffering through the wisdom and compassion of Dharma. As an example of how we might be able to understand and receive Amida's compassion, I would like to share some stories of people in my life who are mothers. Last year, my sister had her first child, and my niece is now 15 months old. She's just started to walk and say a few words, and I would like to share that one of her first words is Dodgers. But her father is a very strong Dodgers fan. But several months ago, my niece had gotten sick for the very first time, and my sister was so worried and also very sad to see her daughter suffer. My sister is a nurse and her husband a doctor, so they generally know what to do when somebody is sick and who to call if anything got worse. But because this was their own child who was sick, they had a special type of feeling of sadness and worry. And because this was their daughter, again, and not just a patient, out of their sadness and worry, they wanted to do everything that they could to try to alleviate her from her suffering and make her healthy. And so they called everybody that they knew and gave her all of the appropriate treatments for a baby her age. This was an expression of their compassion for their daughter. Another one of my friends was recently telling me about how her young child, who's in kindergarten, I think, was having some issues in school. And my friend, her mother, felt so bad about it, and she just wanted to do whatever she could to help her child have a better experience in life. And she thought, maybe part of my child's problem is her confidence level, so she's trying to be extra encouraging and positive when she talks to her child, and asked other members of her family to do the same so that the child could know that she was being thought of, encouraged, and loved. Another friend, who actually has an older young adult child, also has a child who she said is having difficulty in life and figuring out life. And she said to me, as a mother, it makes me so sad to see him suffer like this. It's so painful. Her heart was hurting with him, and she really wants to do something as his mother to help him. And because he's a young adult and she doesn't have the control over him like a small child, all she can do is support him. And she has been trying to do all the various things that she knows how to do as a mother, as a person, to help him through his problems, to let him know that he is not alone. And a last story I would like to share is that of my grandmother, who has now passed away. But her son, my uncle, when he was in his 60s, and my grandmother was in her early 90s, my uncle had a debilitating stroke. I've spoken a little bit about him before. And when my uncle had his stroke, my grandmother became so sad, and I think she actually became depressed because she felt this sadness and pain with what he must be struggling through. And she wanted to do anything that she could, get him the best medical care, anything that she could to help her son. So these are some examples how people who are mothers have expressed their concern, their care, their love, compassion for their child. I think Amida's heart of compassion is just like the heart of these mothers. So when we say the Buddha feels empathy for us, it's not just, a superficial, oh, I'm sorry you feel sad, I can understand, they're there. But it is a heart that is able to truly recognize the pain of another, that also has the deep wish and aspiration to do whatever is possible to alleviate that pain and bring the other to happiness. The stories that I shared were, of course, human mothers and human children, but they were mothers and children of all very different ages. Regardless, the heart of compassion for their children was the same no matter what age or gender their child was. It is a compassion that completely embraces the other, whether they were newborn babies or senior citizens. Of course, as I mentioned, they are humans. So they are humans helping humans. And as humans, there is only so much we can do to help our loved ones. And the compassion that we do have is usually limited to our loved ones. Amida Buddha, on the other hand, is immeasurable wisdom and immeasurable compassion. That is embracing all people at all times, not excluding anyone, and embracing especially those who are suffering the most and who are the most evil. Shakyamuni Buddha described that Tathagata is treating each one of us as if we are the only children who are in immense pain, and giving us the treatment to bring us to non-suffering and joy. But we should know that the joy that Buddha is leading us to is not a superficial temporary happiness or a self-centered happiness, or even a type of happiness that may want to make us dance. But it is a thoroughgoing, unassuming, indescribable joy for life with the Dharma that may actually bring us to joy, tears of joy. And then, at the end of our life, we are ultimately brought to the true joy of nirvana that will be reached in the Pure Land. To be with us in this way and bring us to this state of happiness is Amida's vow. This is the heart in Amida's vow. Tathagata's vow is always reaching out to each and every one of us with this inconceivable heart through calling to us, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. I am here for you at any time. Please rely on my wisdom and compassion to support you in life. Please listen to it and receive it. So whenever we have moments where we have received any wisdom or insights from Buddha's teaching, we should remember that it is being given to us, it is coming to us out of this great compassionate heart that is likened to a universal mother to all beings. Amida's wisdom is not separate from its compassion, and its compassion is not separate from its wisdom. And for receiving the heart of these two great virtues, we respond to Buddha with our own Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Buddha, for giving me this wisdom, for embracing me in compassion. Thank you, Buddha, for everything that you are doing for me. And so today, as we celebrate and thank our mothers and mother figures in our lives, let us also include Amida Buddha for its fundamental vow that feels our joys with us, feels our sadness with us, works to liberate us from suffering by giving us the way to ultimate nirvana through great wisdom, and that embraces each and every one of us just as we are, never abandoning anyone. And for being given this great compassionate activity, let us continue to recite Namo Amida Butsu with the heart of indebtedness and trusting and deep joy. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to attend our Dharma service today on Mother's Day. Let us always continue to reflect on the heart of Amida's vow and allow it to support us each and every day. I would now like to conclude my message by reading a letter written by Master Renyo. Lay people in the latter age who lack wisdom should deeply rely on Amida Buddha with singleness of heart, entrusting themselves to the Buddha single-mindedly and unwaveringly for their emancipation, without turning their thoughts to other matters. However deep and heavy their evil karma may be, Amida Tathagata unfailingly saves them. This is the essence of the 18th vow that assures our birth in the Pure Land through the Nembutsu. Once our heart is thus settled, we should say the Nembutsu, whether awake or asleep, for as long as we live, humbly and respectfully. Mandai muchi no saike shijum no nanyo tarang tomogara wa kokoro itotsu ni shite Amida Buddha fukaku tanomi mairasete sarani yo no kata e kokoro furazu ishi nikko ni bu tasuke tamae tomo-san shujo ma tatoi zaigo ma jinju nari tomo kanarazu mida nyorai wa shukui mashimasu beshi kore sunawachi dai 18の念仏の上の瀬がの心なり核のごとく献上しての上には出ても覚めても命のあらん限りは称名念仏すべきものなりあなかしこあなかしこナマンダプツナマンダプツナマンダプナマンダプツナマンダプナマンダプナマンダプ
Message this morning. Now would you please follow along for the reading of Ryogemon.
I invite you once again to please join me, hands together, gassho, as we recite Ryogemon, words of understanding of our tradition. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. No doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust, and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Ryoge Shutsugon. Moro moro no zogyo zashu jiriki no kokoro o furisete. Ishi ni Amida nyorai. Warera ga kondo no ichi daiji no gosho. On tasuke sorae to tanomi moshite soro. Tanomu 1年の時、往生一条恩助け事情と存じ、この上の称名はご恩報者と存じ、喜び申し候。この恩断り、弔問申し訳候こと、ご解散承認ご出世のご恩、次第僧正の前時式の朝からざるご関係のご恩と、ありがたく存じ候。この上は定めを課せられる恩をきて、一語限り守り申すべく候。ナモアミダブツ、ナマンダ、ナマンダ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダ、ナマンダブツ、ナマンダ、ナマンダ。ナマンダブツ、ナマンダ。
Okay, now for announcements. On Saturday, May the 17th at 10 o'clock, we will be having a centennial commemorative seminar entitled Hearing and Appreciating the Buddha's Wish. Our guest speaker is Reverend Yukari Tori, who is the resident minister of the San Fernando Valley Honganji Buddhist Temple. It's a free seminar, but donations are greatly appreciated. On the 18th at 10 o'clock, we have our Gotan Dharma service, or Shinran Shonin's birthday. And again, Reverend Tori will be our guest speaker for that. And then the same day, we have our Hatsumairi, or first service for infant. So if you have a child, young child, or a grandchild that you would like to bring, please contact the office for that to make arrangements. May the 25th at 10 o'clock is our Memorial Day Dharma service. And our speaker for that day will be Reverend Umezu. We have several study sessions. The first one is Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. via Zoom, and it's entitled, What is the Jodo Shinshu Teaching?, which is led by Reverend Takata. Suggested fee is $40, and the next session will be May the 14th. He also has a Saturday session from 11 to 12, also via Zoom, and the next one will be the 31st of May. June the 21st is our famous yard sale, which will be held at the temple parking lot. We received an abundance of donations yesterday, so I'm kind of limiting what we're collecting now, but if you have a few things, you're more than welcome to bring it. Just make sure that they're clean and dust-free. Then every third Friday of the month, we have bingo at the temple starting at 7 o'clock. It will be this Friday. And we've been having a lot of people come in attendance, so that means it's big cash prizes. And we're trying something different this month, so if you're curious, please come and join us. Then we have some apparel that we sell here. We have, and I've shown it to you many times, so I'm not going to do it today, but we have t-shirts. It comes in crew or v-neck style. They're $20 each. They're black. And then we also have our temple hapi. Those are, it's red, and we have the same temple logo. For members, it's $80, I'm sorry, wait a minute, $80, and for non-members, it's $95. So if you're interested in any of those, then please contact the office. So again, thank you very much for joining us. If you would like to stay, if you have time, we will have some coffee and donuts in the back room. All right, so Sensei?
Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas, Namandas, Namandas. Thank you for coming. Please offer the incense. Thank you.